Hey guys, what's happening? Hope everybody's having a good week. This is Tim Raines here with Wagon Rights Dog Training. I'm definitely having a great week. Wound up getting a puppy on Sunday. So I got 8-week-old Doberman named Mamba after the late great Kobe Bryant. And I want to talk a little bit about my household setup and everything that I'm doing thus far. So I figured this would be a great video for new puppy owners, how to establish great habits, potty training, crate training, equipment, all of that type of stuff. So let me first talk about equipment that I have. So on me almost all the time, I have a small tug. So it's a puppy tug. I got it through Learberg. You can actually get Learberg tugs on Amazon. So I have a small tug on me all the time that I can use to redirect him from, picking up things and whatever, and even just have little play sessions periodically. I also have a treat pouch, right? So I have a Pet Safe full-size treat pouch. That's my favorite one. It has a nice French bracket in there, so this way, treats and stuff can't escape very easily. Like if you sit down, you're not going to dump your whole pouch out and all, that. So I want to have high-value food on me. Right now, in that pouch, sometimes I have Ziwi Peak, sometimes I have Vital Essentials. So these are actually both foods. They're not like typical dog treats. And then I'm actually weaning him off of the Purina Pro plan that the breeder had him on. So I plan on switching him to something else, most likely Nature's Logic. That's what I feed Dalton. So and it's a really, really high value food. So that's probably where I'm gonna go with that. I do have a 5-ounce squirt bottle in my pocket, just in case, right? So if he's really going for something and he's, you can't redirect them, that squirt from the water bottle is startling enough to make him stop. Really invaluable for safety, right? You don't want a little puppy like that picking up rocks. You don't want them picking up mulch or just twigs or just whatever, and I obviously have 2 little kids, so, they leave stuff around. So have used the squirt bottle a few times for those types of moments. Always rewarding afterwards, always giving nice praise afterwards. It's something you want to do super sparingly, obviously, but if you need to, it's like risk reward, right? Do I want him ingesting a rock or, startle from squirt bottle, right? So those things are all really big. I do have him on a Flexi Leash. I actually got one. The brand is actually not Flexi. It's just a retractable leash. The brand is Alcott. I actually like this leash quite a bit too. Its kind of locking mechanism makes sense with the way that your thumb moves on a retractable leash. So actually enjoying that. I went down to Sire's Feed and Supply in Elgin. I like to support local small business as well. And that's what he carried, and I'm always about learning about different brands and stuff like that. So I did get an Alcott retractable leash. What's up, buddy? Good morning. So I have that retractable leash, the treat pouch, Learberg puppy tug, pouch filled with food. Right, so always want to have this on you at all times. Then I also have a harness on him, right? And I'm not typically like the biggest fan of using harnesses for training. I mean, they have their purpose, but I'm primarily using this for management, and same thing with that retractable leash. So, puppies of his age, so basically as young as you can get them, or as you should get them, I should say. Puppies of that age, they don't understand leash pressure. They're not ready for that lesson. So I'm basically allowing him to get, as much as maybe 10 feet away from me at the very most. But it does give me some leeway, so I don't constantly have, a puppy at the end of the leash and then you accidentally drag them or stuff like that. So the retractable leash has been awesome. The harness has been awesome. I got a nice, it's a mesh harness that fits him really, really well. I kind of tested it out before, like he cannot slip out of this thing, even as squirmy as puppies are. So I'm comfortable with that setup that I have. He's gonna grow out of these things really fast. So just some stuff that you wanna have for now. about like the flow of the house, you know, how I've been doing my management, my crate training, feeding, potty training, stuff like that. So I've been doing just a lot of like finding food in the crate. And actually that's where I'm giving him his food and his water, appropriate chew toys. Like I have a treat dispensing ball that I'll put in there that he gets into sometimes. I have, not a rawhide, it's like a, I think they call it a no hide. It's like a more like digestible form, like easier on the stomach. I put that in there only when I'm gonna be in that same room, so I'm not leaving that in there with him. I'm scattering food on the floor, so I'm not feeding him from a bowl right now. I wanna take as much advantage as I can and really get him acclimated to the crate. So I really dialed back my schedule this week to get the puppy acclimated, the boys acclimated with the puppy, I mean the whole deal. And I'm just kind of, you know, maybe doing one lesson or so a day right now. But, you know, I want to take the most advantage of this that I possibly can, because I'm going to be back to working, you know, full schedule next week. So I really want to get him crate trained, accepting it, so every meal is fed in that crate right now. I scatter it on the floor, so he gets all over the crate. I will put it in there when he's not there, right? I'll open the door, he wants to fly in there, right? I am starting to do some rules with him as far as exiting the crate, and some things with as far as like his incredibly loud barks, or if he's biting on the bars for the crate. So obviously, you know, I have wife and kids, and you know, you don't want toddlers and babies waking up, and definitely not your wife. So when he gets really loud, that's when I'll use that squirt bottle. Actually, most of the time I'm not even hitting him with the bottle when he's in the crate. I'm actually spraying the crate, and just trying to get the not the mat, but you know, the tray, right? So I'm just trying to hit that tray just enough to say, hey, that's a little ridiculous. That's super loud, right? And again, praise food when he calms down. That food being in the crate is pretty awesome, because when he starts to calm down, then he starts to eat the food, right? And his association is, you know, becoming pretty good. He's gotten so much better in the crate. I've had him for 2 days, right? So this is going on my 3rd day. We brought him home Sunday night. So, you know, he's doing so much better with what I'm doing so far. And the feeding in the crate is a really big part of it. I do have like a little leather, it was like a squirrel they had over at Sire's that I put in there with him. Sometimes he'll kind of get into playing with that, not too much. You know, one thing with little puppies, I think that people really don't understand, same thing with babies too, is that how much sleep that they need. You know, so a puppy of his age could easily go 14 to 18 hours of sleeping, right? He's growing. He's going to be like 115-ish pound dog. You know, he needs that downtime. And I often find families are just like overstimulating their puppies and not giving them that required downtime just to chill out. So, as far as like some rules in the crate go, so I'm not allowing the biting the bars. I don't want him to start breaking his teeth. I want to stop that pretty soon, right? So it's just kind of one of those, I don't want him to hurt himself, get his mouth stuck on the bars, so I'm not allowing that. Even with that, if I do like a loud clap, he'll back off. And then immediately when he backs off, good boy, right? Show him what I want, then praise him, then feed him, you know, that whole bit. So, I am starting to do some threshold rules just at the crate, because once I started doing this, like Monday was like really bad. He was like super loud, right? I was, you know, co-sleeping with him still, you know, just to make it through the night so I'm not waking up my entire family with the dog. And so Monday was pretty bad just as far as how loud he was in the crate. So, what I started doing there, you know, correcting those like really loud barks that he does, rewarding after he has stopped that. And then I started doing what it's called door control, right? So essentially I would go to open that crate door, and if he tried to get out of it, I had a leash that I strung through the crate. So it's like on the outside of the bars now, so I have the handle, but on the inside it's still with him, so one of those wire crates. And so when he would try to go out, I would just stop him with the leash and I would shut the door. He's starting to understand when he's patient, that door will open. If he's barking, if he's, you know, trying to rush out that door is going to close. All right, so I'm starting these rules this young, partially because too, like, you get a good read on a dog after a few days, and you know, when you've been doing this as long as I have, this is a pretty confident dog, and I can tell this because he's not having any issues with anything. He'll go up to every person. He tries to get onto every surface. He was actually have a bag set out in the yard from when we were playing bags last weekend, and he was crawling all over it, under it. You know, he's already trying to go up the stairs. We have a lot of different textures where I'm at. So we have like a brick patio layout. We have a wooden deck. We have a rock surface for him to walk on. We have hardwood floors. We have rubber floors for our gym. In the basement, we have areas that we have some carpet, right? So, and this dog has no problem. And so some of like your more reserved dogs would not be doing these things. And also they probably wouldn't be doing as many bold things that he is doing, right? So that require me to start doing some of these, okay, manners at the door, right? So at this young of an age. But it is helping immensely. So that's really what I'm doing so far regarding the crate. I do have 3 crates. So I'm following what I tell all my clients. And this is absolutely huge for creating habit, right? So if I cannot or do not want to watch him, right, which people need a break too. You know, puppy is nearly a full-time job. Throw on kids, throw on your actual job. It's a lot, right? So what I've been doing with him is if I cannot or do not want to watch him, I put him in the crate, right? And it's to me, it's totally fair, totally safe. That's my bigger thing. You know, if he happened to have an accident, not the biggest deal in the world, he's in a crate. I don't have to go find it later, right? He can't chew on cords in there. He can't, you know, steal the kids' toys, or just, puppies do so many things. So this avoids all of that nonsense that puppies can do. And you don't want to allow those habits to start taking shape. And this is exactly what you do. When you really see, you know, the dog maturing and being able to offer you, you know, commands that you want, and you just see their general, just household manners improve, you know, then you could start giving them a little bit more freedom, right? And then add more freedom after that and more freedom. But their behavior dictates their freedom and their privileges, okay? 8-week-old puppy, none. Nothing they do is going to be correct in a human world, right? Like, it could all get them hurt. It could just be generally destructive. It's just no freedom for young puppies. Cannot overstate that. Then when you are out and about with them, preparedness is absolutely key. If you're not prepared, and this is what I see with so many of my clients, you know, you want to understand that you are raising a puppy. This is not just training. This doesn't just stop. You know, this idea to me became even more prevalent once I had children. Right? So like, man, if I were just training my kids, that wouldn't be bad, right? 15 minutes here, 10 minutes there, parenting, that's not that bad, right? And you're parenting, you know, all the time. Then if you're not parenting, you're working, right? You know, so same thing with a puppy. Be prepared to have that idea of raising. When you get the idea of raising down, right, everything's going to flow much more smoothly. So absolutely managed to the T, right? I do have 3 crates in the house. I have 2 upstairs, 1 downstairs. The one downstairs is actually Dalton's crate. So far, Mamba is the puppy's name. He hasn't made an accident in that crate. it is big. It's just, you know, I'm not leaving him in there long term. It's just, man, if I got to go grab something in the basement, or if I have to attend to one of my kids, I'm going to put him in there really quick, and then, you know, grab him and then take him upstairs to the smaller crate. It's just like literally quick management for that larger crate. You know, really should be a smaller crate, but you know, I have 2 crates that do fit them, and those are upstairs. And our upstairs is just kind of bigger, and it's where life happens more, so it just makes more sense. I'm trying to think of anything else that I got going on here. Oh, my items. So I am keeping them on a table next to the crate that I use the most. So this way, it's not like, oh, my treat pouch is downstairs, my leash is upstairs, my, you know, squirt bottle is in the living room, and, you know, my treats are in the 4 seasons room, or 3 seasons room, right? It's like everything is where it should be. So organization is also pretty key here too. You know, you want to be overly prepared with a puppy. Let me see, I think he's sleeping right now, but I'm gonna flip the screen on the phone, and hopefully this works well as I go to upload this video. And I'm gonna show you some of the things that I have going on, as well as my extremely messy living room, which my kids destroy. All right, so here comes the flip. Or not. I'm just gonna turn my phone. Okay, so there's the little man being calm in his crate. There's that little leather squirrel that he's, I guess, his cuddle buddy, and he tries to kill him. Love-hate relationship. Got a treat ball in there, the food scattered. I pulled the water. Big thing with potty training, I'm gonna go back out here real quick because he's a little whiny. Big thing with potty training, okay? So you wanna let your dogs out within 5 to 10 minutes, no joke, and it just really depends on the dog. You know, I was going earlier with him, but he's kind of showed me he can hold it a little bit longer than I thought. So within 5 to 10 minutes, eating, drinking, sleeping, playing, let your dogs out. That's gonna help you a lot. As he gets older, I'll get a little bit more of like a food schedule with him, but right now he's eating frequently, so I'm out here a lot, right? So those are some big things. Also, I just kind of call these some common sense rules, right? Before you leave, let your dog out. When you get home, let your dog out, right? Put them on a leash right away, bring them outside. Don't give them time to have accidents. Okay, so I'm gonna sneak back inside. He might give us the business a little bit, but I can show you some of the equipment here. Oh, here he is. Okay. So, 5-ounce squirt bottle. I get these guys on Amazon. The seller is Bar 5F. Okay. Amazon 5-ounce squirt bottle, Bar 5F. Comes in a 3-pack. You won't regret it. Easy to fit in your pocket, right? So if you look right here, that's my common setup with the squirt bottle. Dominant side pocket, the treat pouch. Okay, so this is a pet safe, full-size treat pouch. Location of the treat pouch. When he starts doing that crazy whiny stuff, this is another thing I'll do. I'll leave when he does that. Like, I'm just gonna go into a different room, right? He's gotta learn to self-soothe a little bit. I'm going back to work Monday. Pet safe full-size treat pouch. Opposite, right? So it's right behind that squirt bottle, right? So I kind of want it a little bit behind me so the dog isn't obsessing about that pouch. But I also do want it on my dominant side as well so that it's easy to access, right? So this way, you know, everybody's gonna go reaching for treats with their dominant hand, right? So I put it right there. Even when I don't have this thing on, I go reaching for treats. Like, that's how long I've had this pouch here. It's like a phantom limb. And same thing with the squirt bottle. I will often go inside thinking the squirt bottle is my phone, just like that feeling in your pocket, like I have something. And I'll walk inside with the squirt bottle and leave my phone in the car. Right. And that's just, before I had Mamba, just doing regular training. So that's always fun. Let me show you the retractable leash and the tug. So it's a nice little, it's all-cot retractable. Flexis are great too, either one. I'm actually surprised how much I like this. His harness is on him. It is a black harness, so it's hard to see. Let's do a little close-up here. Just a nice fitting mesh harness. Can everybody see that? Okay. So I'm gonna remove some of that attention when he starts getting up on the crate like that too. Then I have a Learberg puppy tongue, so he'll chase this around. This I'm gonna put in my other pocket. You can even put this in your back pocket too. So I'm often going around like this. Here we have tug, squirt bottle, free pouch. I do have another leash that I can clip on him really, really quickly, handy. This is Sean O'Shea's Ultimate Leash, right? So I'm gonna be doing this more as he gets older, but I have clipped this on him when it's the closest thing to me and I gotta go outside. Right? So I keep that around. Also, like as far as cleaning any accidents up, I've got the Nature's Miracle handy. I have paper towels handy. I have my treats handy. All right, his dog food here on a little bit bigger crate. So that's what he's currently eating. I'm gonna switch him off that. But that's pretty much the setup so far. So things that you could tell, preparedness is key. You want to start working immediately on your crate training, start working on your potty training. Don't focus on, I have a new puppy, let's teach it how to sit. That stuff you can do at any point, right? And it's really not gonna matter. Focus on crate training, focus on potty training, focus on manners. That just general calmness works for everything. I actually learned this from a great trainer named Tyler Muto, and I follow Tyler Consider the Dog, Facebook, any of his material, I check into because he's just such a great influence on the industry. And if you're a trainer out there and you haven't found his stuff, do it. You'll learn a lot from this guy. But Tyler talks about how in the wild there's a period of time where dogs are not yet like a wild dog, right? They're not yet hunting, and they have kind of like they're done like breastfeeding from their mother, right? So they're done nursing. And at that point in time, he talks about how dogs have to elicit calm, respectful, submissive behaviors to the higher ranking members or older dogs in order for the dogs to allow them to eat or even regurgitate food for them depending on the age. So it's kind of an interesting thing. It's like positive reinforcement in the wild, right? And it does exist, and I never even thought of that before he had said that. But when you think about it, this kind of follows what I'm doing here, just pretty natural, and remember, and this is a quote from a trainer named Mark McCabe, who I've studied a lot too. Mark McCabe, one of his quotes says, "Behind every behavior is an emotion causing that behavior." So when we see a lot of these behaviors that we don't like, and we try to just work on them as like a quick fix type of level, we're not fully thinking things through, right? So if behind every behavior is an emotion causing that behavior, the root of a lot of these issues is the mentality, right? So if I'm allowing that jumping, if I'm allowing that, crazy barking, the biting, the crate, and I'm going and giving him attention, I'm nurturing a pushy, demanding, in his scenario, anxious state. And no, it makes sense that a dog of his age does this stuff. You can't pay so much attention to it and soothe that. Especially with I don't do a lot of physical touch for that. I do try to do like a positive interrupter, like a kissy noise. Then when he stops doing the behavior, I'll reward him. I've done things like that. He gets in such, he gets so committed to that barking that one of the things that you can do is sometimes people go reward the behavior even if you don't like it, because it'll allow you to change it. And a lot of trainers are talking about this nowadays. Well, again, this is where, real life comes into play too. So when I've done this and tossed food off of him and he doesn't care about it, and let's say I try it 5 times, yeah, I have sleeping kids and a sleeping wife, right? Kind of got to pick your battles. And to me, a little spray of water, if that works, right? Yeah, you can see where I'm going with that. So, you kind of got to do what works. If I was a single guy, I would definitely try the other longer, to see if I couldn't get some better change from that. Because one of the things that you'd want to understand is that I wouldn't be reinforcing that behavior. I'd be rewarding it. This is a whole interesting conversation, but essentially you would reinforce that behavior, so make that behavior stronger by making him more stressed out, right? So he's doing that behavior in the crate because he's really young. A wild cub would not ever be left alone. So think about that, right? So at 8 weeks, you would never just see, here's my lone wolf cub. He's going to be with his pack to some variation of that, right? So puppies will freak out because they don't feel safe, right? So, there's reasons for him doing this behavior, but, again, this is where you're raising a dog and you got to do things that are actually effective and work. So, as light as possible, especially at these stages, these early stages. But yeah, we can't make that freaking out work, right? So every time he freaks out, I can't just let him out. And, if he's ignoring 10 pieces of food, then you got to do something to stop that behavior a little bit. So, and also, very light squirt of water or clapping hands. So I've been doing some of those things so far and just getting a feel for him. Another thing that I find really cool with puppies is a thing called a Flirt Pole. And if you guys don't know what one of these is, it is literally like a dog version of a common cat toy. So it has a tug that is attached to like a bungee line, and it's like on a PVC pole. Where did I put that thing? See if I can find it real quick to show you. Oh, here it is, right by the front door, as it should be. So this is, something I just do outside of them, but like this. So he's liking to chase this around in the yard. And, obviously, puppies have times where they're active, and he's not yet where it's like, hey, let's go for a mile-long walk. 5-minute bursts, really, a 5 to 7 minute bursts. Like if he's really into it, I'll play with him a little bit longer. And same thing with like the training I'm doing. If I'm going to condition reward markers or a positive interrupter, really early stuff, work on a little manners, 5 minutes, right? Puppies just don't have that long of attention spans, and you don't want to make this process boring or seem like overly needy into it. So I had the idea of you want to leave them wanting more. It doesn't always work that way, but if you have that idea, you're going to keep training relatively fun for your dog. So that Flirt Pole is cool for a little exercise. I keep it low. You don't want to have a young puppy jumping all the time. So low, they can move pretty quickly, chase it around, stimulate their prey drive. He seems to have a lot of prey drive, and I'm just comparing this to my other Doberman, Dalton. So which would be kind of cool. So I think he's going to be a bit more into training and like really wanting to work. And that's one of those differences between a European working line bred dog and an American more show line bred dog. All right, so he seems to have a little bit more interest and desire in the first place. So I'm going to stop this video here, but definitely reach out if you guys have any questions on this video. Feel free to contact me through Facebook at Wagging Your Rights Dog Training, Instagram at Wagging Your Rights Dog Training. Call or text me 847-682-2116. I'd be happy to answer all your puppy related questions and your dog training questions in general. So thanks guys, have a great day.